Am I the a-hole for calling it my car? I recently bought my dream car. My husband loves it too. But today he kept calling it our car and using we when talking about ownership. I corrected him, and said it was not our car. It is my car. I went alone to different dealers, used my money, my credit, and it is in my name only. But he was offended that I do not consider it belonging to the both of us. We pretty much split everything 50-50 because he gets weird about money. We have separate accounts and it has worked really well for us so far. I know more traditional marriages share everything with their partner. But as I said, he gets really possessive of his money, so I always felt it best to keep money separate so we can avoid conflict. I guess he feels entitled to the new car since we are married. But I feel like if he didn't love the car, he wouldn't care to ever claim ownership. So am I the a-hole for saying it is strictly my car not our car? Am I the a-hole for taking my daughter out of the country without telling her dad? I took my daughter, Den, to France for a week, we're from UK, for a holiday. She missed no time off school and it didn't affect her contact with her dad. We have a child arrangements order and legally I am allowed to take my daughter anywhere without permission or notice as long as it doesn't affect contact. I checked with a solicitor. When I booked the holiday I sent a WhatsApp message to my daughter's dad to tell him I was taking her on holiday. I gave the dates, the location and travel details. There is a big but, I know he has me blocked on WhatsApp so I knew he'd never see the message. I knew if he knew he'd kick off and try and ruin our holiday. I know I'm not legally obligated to tell him about our holiday, but I thought it would help the situation if I could say, well I did send him the details. Anyway we get to France and we're having a great time. My daughter decided to call her dad for a chat. I told her she can tell him whatever she likes, it's up to her if she tells him we're on holiday, but I did warn her that he probably doesn't know and might be unhappy. Partway through the call she mentions we're in France and he goes ballistic. Screaming, shouting etc. He demanded to speak to me. I got on the phone, but couldn't get a word in for all the screaming so I ended the call. He starts blowing up mine and my daughter's phone demanding we return to the UK immediately. He was threatening to have me arrested for abduction etc. I calmly sent him a message stating we are on holiday, we'll be home before he is due to see daughter and that daughter is happy, healthy and enjoying a holiday. I told him that he's welcome to call and text her but please not stop screaming and shouting as it's distressing her. He texted back calling me an a-hole and saying he'll see me in court. Am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for telling my 30F husband, 35M, that I don't want to sell the house to save his dog? Hello, as the title says, my husband adopted a female husky on a whim before we met. He never researched the breed or anything about dogs. He refused to spay her because as he says she wouldn't be a real husky and would lose her personality which we all know isn't true. She is now 8 years old. Side note. The house our family lives in is his, purchased before me, and he lost his job in June and employment insurance hasn't come in. My salary covers house expenses but we now have $0 into a bank. In the past year we have spent a total of $8,000 of our emergency savings on emergency vet bills for her. 1. He gave her a bone covered in fat and she was hospitalized for pancreatitis. 2. She had a mammary tumor that was thankfully benign so surgery to remove the mass. 3. She had a phantom pregnancy a few months ago so another trip to vet for tests where I finally convinced him to spay her. 4. The spaying. 5. Now, 3 weeks after spaying, she has a large mass on another tit, it's very bad and leaking red. Vet says cancer, we are doing more tests. Since we are living paycheck to paycheck, his solution to pay for her vet bills, multiple tumor removals, chemotherapy etc. is to sell his car. I have my own that I use every day for work, and then the house that our children and I live in, he needs my okay to sell as we are married and it is registered as a family residence. He says he refuses to let his dog die over a tumor, he has a very unhealthy attachment on his dog, she basically replaced his dad after his dad's passing 8 years ago, he says she's the only thing he had after the passing. I have animals of my own and I understand not wanting to let them go and doing everything for them, which I have done. But I think this is excessive and I think everyone needs a limit where they say I'm not going to put myself in crippling debt and be homeless for this. He obviously thinks I'm an a-hole for not being okay with the house and car being sold and thinks I'm even more of an a-hole because I financially can't and don't want to put myself in huge amounts of debt for the dog, when we are already struggling on one income. So I ask everyone, am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for calling my boyfriend's degree useless? Me, 29, and my boyfriend, 27, were at a party a few nights ago. We met up with my friends. My boyfriend and I have been in a relationship for a year and celebrated our anniversary 3 weeks ago. While at the party, one of my friends asked my boyfriend about school and work etc. My boyfriend has a degree in African languages and works at a non-profit. I had quite a lot of drinks, so I called my boyfriend's degree useless because he doesn't make much money at his job. In a funny way of course. Most of my friends laughed. One friend told me it was an asshole thing to say. My boyfriend wasn't happy either, although his degree really isn't all that useful. Ever since my boyfriend has been kinda cold and I feel like an ass. Am I the a-hole for letting my 5-year-old make her own mistakes? I was getting my daughter, 5, ready for school yesterday and she insisted on wearing a sweater with no shirt under it and full-length pants. I told her it was going to be hot, 80 degrees and sunny, and she plays outside with little shade all morning but nothing swayed her so I let her wear it to school. She ended up getting slightly overheated and they changed her into a loner dress. The kids know the loner clothes are usually for accidents so her friends were asking if she had an accident and one boy teased her about it. She was pretty embarrassed by the time I picked her up. My husband is mad that I let her wear the sweater because she could have gotten heat stroke and was teased due to the results of her outfit choices, but now she knows to dress appropriately for the weather. If I had made her change into a t-shirt and shorts, she would have tried the same thing today. He still thinks we should be teaching her, but I think she's old enough to be making some of her own mistakes. The consequences of this were fairly minor and she learned how to dress, but my husband still thinks I'm in the wrong. Am I the a-hole?